Hi, my name is Cameron. Welcome to my group dynamics PowerPoint presentation about group dynamics and the evolution of group practices in social work. So let's begin as soon as I can click through this. So within the field of social work, there are many agencies and professions that utilize group practice, so it's very common. For example, groups can be effective at places like adoption agencies, correctional facilities, rehab centers, family service agencies, nursing homes, mental hospitals, even public schools and community centers, and so many other resources as well. Each group serves a different purpose and has different goals or desires that come from it, ranging from something like a support group or grief groups or substance abuse counseling groups, or there could be an educational component as well to learn a new skill or develop a deeper understanding of a certain task or a way of life or something like that. So, group work first began in the 1800s with participants searching for recreation and informative or informal education, friendship, and just social interaction. And these were found in settlement houses originating in London. While learning in a group setting, members were taught how to improve their housing situations, their health, they're learning about hygiene and education and different job opportunities. And so it was very beneficial and enticing for them to be a part of these groups. Continuing on with that, one example of a significant group practice that really took off in the 1970s is peer support groups. Following the closure of mental institutions, the individuals housed here were viewed as dangerous or unstable, leaving them unwanted and undesired in the community, naturally resulting in the community, they're finding community within one another because they had that commonality of living at these mental institutions and not feeling supported by their community outside of these buildings. So they were finding each other through that lived experience, now known as peer support. Support groups have since evolved to include a variety of mental health concerns and are available in a wide variety of formats and pattern platforms. I do think that's why these groups have continued to grow. And additionally, as technology continues to allow for more connection and opportunity, there are more avenues for people to get the help that feels comfortable for them if they have certain disorders or conditions that prevent them from leaving the house or they're just not comfortable getting around people in an in-person setting. Technology allows them to kind of navigate that for what's comfortable for them. Additionally, some of these success of these peer support groups is largely based on human connection as the group members bond and develop lasting relationships based off of those shared life experiences and that shared hope for the future as they invest in one another. Again, as time continues to change and people evolve, the variety of groups starts to expand as well, and there's more specialized groups these days, such as LGBTQ plus groups, substance abuse groups, grief groups, social groups, educational groups, and so many more. And like I stated earlier, they're each serving a different purpose with different goals and backgrounds. As stated earlier, I just said this, there's different motives and bases for each of the different types of groups, and we're just going to talk about two types of groups here. So, two common types of groups in the social work realm are task groups and treatment groups. A task group is specifically created to accomplish a specific set of tasks or a certain set of objectives, and this can be in situations like social workers that are involved in administrative groups or committees within the workplace set to accomplish tasks related to upcoming events or policy implementation or document writing. Whereas a treatment group is aimed towards serving individuals with severe emotional behavior and or personal problems. So a social worker's role in this would be to lead the group and to be backed by that education and that training to have those leadership skills to manage those different personalities within the group. And so they would need to be skilled in leadership skills as well as counseling skills to help members express their emotions and their behaviors and feelings and concerns as they work towards exploring strategies that would help these individuals kind of cope with that and to improve their life situations and resolve those issues. Task groups are efficient ways to accomplish to-do lists and make larger projects or events run smoother by assigning them to a task group and breaking up a large task or a large event into different categories and different smaller, more manageable tasks. The limitation of a task group may be that Each member does not share the same role. Although they have the same end goal, their route of getting there might be different, and this might cause conflict within the group. So it's important for the group leader to know how to manage that conflict. Within a treatment group, excuse me, they might come into the group with different end goals. They're coming for the same type of treatment, but they might have different specific personal end goals, but they are collectively there to learn um, coping skills, to learn the same skills and strategies to overcome their mental illness or their emotional situation and kind of adjust some behaviors. A task group can be led by anyone um, with a passion for the end goal and can be led on the micro, meso, or macro level. And they just have to have a plan of how to get there and have some organizational leadership skills to manage that group itself. Whereas a treatment group needs to be led by a professional with the necessary skills, like I said, leadership skills and counseling skills, because um, treatment groups are therapeutic groups and more for learning strategies and effective coping skills, and just having the training to do that is necessary. With any group, it's important to have the leader be able to manage conflict and balance out variety of personalities within the group to kind of avoid that power struggle and that power balance. For example, a task group might be organized to implement the agenda for rolling out a homeless outreach program, as I've listed here, which comes with a lot of to-do lists and a lot of policies and formal documentation to follow. Whereas a substance abuse group, I actually want to add to the homeless outreach program, um, different tasks. Like there might be subcommittees within that program that talk about funding or city approval or marketing efforts or policy action to really roll out the homeless program. A treatment group that we hear a lot about is a substance abuse treatment program, and it's common for the individuals in there to focus on struggling on substance abuse as they navigate recovery and what that looks like for them. And at that group, they discuss valid concerns for a possible relapse in their life, and they give and receive accountability and support through that interaction of that shared experience with group members. And it's just a really supportive group as they learn to navigate life after substance use. As with anything, the National Association of Social Workers Code of Ethics is applicable in group practice as well. Each aspect listed here can be found within the Code of Ethics, specifically under social workers' ethical responsibilities to clients. Not only do these apply at the micro level, but at the meso and macro levels as well. Self-determination is a large aspect of group work as clients can aim to identify their goals and come together to learn how to best achieve those goals. Informed consent, competence, and confidentiality are also included in group practice as social workers have the responsibility of informing clients on their rights within the group, with refusing treatment, with the purpose of the group, etc. And social workers are also responsible for practicing within their competence in the area. Like I stated earlier, it's important for a treatment group leader to have the necessary background and training and education to be able to run that group effectively. And confidentiality, as always, applies to the group work as well, ensuring that members understand what confidentiality means and how it is important to the group and to the reliability of each other, and understanding what is okay to be said within the group, what's okay to be said outside of the group, and using names and all that kind of stuff outside of the meeting place. And then referral and termination of services are also naturally a part of group practice, as it might become evident that an individual would possibly benefit from a different type of program. That's when a referral would be necessary, or additional supports to put into their life. Referrals should be talked about at the beginning of services in group work and just kind of given as an option for group members to know that there are additional resources out there if they are needing the extra help. And then termination is the end goal of all therapeutic services. So it's just necessary to discuss that, so that the members are aware of what to expect and what is coming and what the end goal is, not only for their personal journey, but for the group as a whole. And then next, discussing ethical dilemmas that might be specific to group work and group settings and how to navigate those. So I've listed some here. A conflict of interest might be something that's broken, and when there could be dual relationships within the group, or a breach of confidentiality if a group member were to post on social media and share the story in the name of a group member and breaking that trust and that confidentiality. And often there are natural power struggles among members and personality clashes and all of that type of interaction within the group. Um, in order to navigate this and find resolutions that line up with the code of ethics, social workers should begin by facilitating conversation around confidentiality and conflict of interest and just lay out and revisit the rules of the group and the expectations of the members, just so everybody's on the same page. If the issues are to continue or worsen, social workers are expected to seek out supervision or to consult their colleagues to come up with a plan or a resolution to make a course of action to ensure that ethical dilemmas are being addressed and that we are being as ethical as possible within the group while maintaining the respect of the group members. Switch in here. For my last slide, group practice in social work, like I said, is used in a variety of agency settings for a variety of different purposes, whether that be on the micro, meso, or macro level, with task groups and treatment groups and a variety of other peer support groups or whatever that might look like. Whatever is catering to the individual, because that's what we are called to do as social workers, is to create services that are unique to the individual and personalized for whatever it is that they are needing. So, for social workers to be successful in leading and running a group, it's important to keep in mind that personal values do play a role in motivational efforts of running a group, but personal values should not overshadow the self-determination of the group members. Continually practicing self-awareness and checking for personal biases and just being mindful of ethical considerations within the group and checking in on group members or having our eyes open to possible dilemmas that are going on within the group, whether said or unsaid. Reading between the lines is important as we're understanding people because we are dealing with real people with real problems. So just being mindful of that as well. Growing with a group member is just a natural part of the group if as a group leader and as a social worker, and it should be celebrated by all members as they work towards goal completion and successful termination from the group. So groups can be a very positive thing if utilized correctly and accurately and can be very beneficial. And that is all I have today.